Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tea with Brittany Lee. I am super excited about today. I know I say that every time. I really need a new opening line or something. If you have any thoughts about that, put it in the chat for me. But I am excited because Steve McWilliams is here with us today. And I'm going to just kind of introduce our topic as we get started. Welcoming some of you guys in here. We already have 10 people on here. All right, 15. Check us out. We are getting ready to do this today. I'm really excited about these reports that Steve's going to talk about. These are going to make your life so much easier and so much better. I can't wait for you to hear his awesome reports. And not only that, Steve has promised to divulge a one-time little secret for me that he's working on that you guys are going to love. When he told me about it earlier, I was like, I'm jealous. I want one of those. So just buckle your seatbelts and get ready because we're going to have a lot of fun. So today we're talking about the best VRM reports that you don't know about and how to use them. So our guest today is Steve McWilliams. He works with the VRM database team, and he has an awesome sense of humor, guys. He's so funny, and I just love hanging out with Steve. We got to meet for the first time in Gatlinburg this past year in, I believe it was October or November or something like that, for the VRM Intel show that we went to up there. And I tell you what, we just had such a fun time up there. And we recorded Steve's spotlight video while we were up in Gatlinburg, and we put it online. So you can actually go onto our website at bit.ly/meet Steve of VRM, and you'll get to find out about his super cool hobby that he has. So just saying, you might want to go and check that out. So I know that most of you guys are veteran Tea with Brittany Lee watchers over here. So I'm going to run through this really quick, but Steve is going to share his screen. And while he's sharing his screen, if you have questions, pop those into the Q&A feature on your Zoom bar, your webinar bar, and let us know what they are because we really want to help you. We want to make sure that this webinar is super helpful and useful for you guys moving forward. I'll be monitoring all those questions, and we'll answer them live when Steve gets done, or throughout, you know, if they're really applicable to one specific moment that he's talking about. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Steve. Thank you, Steve, for coming today. I really appreciate it. Oh, and I think Steve's muted.
Thank you for inviting me. Let's just get into it. I have a number of reports, and I hit Lauren this afternoon and this morning saying, well, what is the most common requested report that they need, that people are asking for or don't know about? And she gave me a number, and then I took a couple of hers and also some of the ones that I see in help desk tickets, and this is how I compiled the list. The first one I want to go over is the same time next year. I just recently had a request about this, about what happens when you have a reservation that you make. And I'm going to go in here and just follow along. Let's see, I'm going to pull in this reservation. And what about the reservations where people want to book the same time next year? Well, we have a little space in there, a little checkbox that allows you to identify those. If we go to general or member info, and as it loads up here, we can see interested in reserving for the same time next year. Well, how do we get that data back? I mean, it's there. Well, you're not going to search through all the reservations. There's a wonderful report that we have that will give you that information. So I'm going to leave this up here, and we're just going to go into reports. And you can see here, there's the same res next year. Let's just click that view in that report. And here we have the report. And now I want to get back over here so we can see that reservation here.
Hey, Steve. I got a question from Stephanie Weiland, and she actually said the screen is really small and kind of hard to read. Is there any way that you could blow it up a little bit for us, give us a little bit more resolution on that screen, zoom in or something?
I can try. Let's see if this is going to make any difference. It's going to throw off
Oh,
the
yes,
resolution.
there we go. That's looking good.
Now, please bear, I've got my screen's 46 inches.
Oh, God.
So,
That's as
um,
big as a TV. You have a TV as your screen, huh?
yes, I have a 4K screen.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, yeah, it looks perfect on our screens now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just bear in mind that this is going to throw all the resolution out because the way I increase the size.
No
So
problem.
anyway, we have the reservation of 1268, and we have the dates that for this specific reservation. And we denoted that this member did or wanted a reservation next year. So if we pull in the report, which we went to reservations, reports, and same res next year, and we put in the dates, and let's just say that it is the 1st to the 14th. Now, nothing came up, and say, well, why didn't it come up? Well, look, in a lot of our reports, have the same option. If we look on where it says date options, there's arrival, departure, and reserved, and that is pretty important to recognize because it can filter some of your results. So we know that the reservation, I chose a time of June 1st to June 14th, and that you would think, being the reservation was the 16th to the 23rd, it may not have shown up then, I guess. So let's just choose for the whole month of June. And here we have the reservation that was this person wanted to have the same reservation next year. The next one that we see a lot of requests for is about the VRA signs. Have they signed it? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if we go into here and we see the VRA signed, it's on your reservation. How do we tell? We're not going to search through every reservation number by number. Let's just pull a report. And we're going to go into unsigned VRAs. And we're going to click View Report. Now, I want to bring up something real quick that you may notice a difference between some of the reports. And I want to just give you a heads up what's coming. You notice there's a slight font difference between, I'm going to pull this up, the last report we pulled up. What's that? Same time next year. You may notice a slight font difference on this. Now, this is two different styles of reports that we currently have in VRM. One is based on Crystal, and one is based on Microsoft's SSRS reports, which is, there's a slight difference, but you will tell a difference, huge difference, when we click View Report. One will typically go directly to a PDF file, meaning you won't be able to export it. You won't be able to, you only have one format that you can use. I'm trying to enlarge this so y'all can see. You see that all right, Brittany?
Yes, that's wonderful. Thank
Okay.
you.
You can see here that it's only in the one format, but on the other report that we had, and I'm going to pull this up real quick so you can see. And side by side. The new reports that we're going to be converting all our existing reports to that are in the Crystal format, we're going to be pushing towards this way. This gives you the ability to export it to Excel, to PDF, or to Word. So if you wanted that ability in this report, you wouldn't have to call the help desk or send in a ticket saying, can I have it converted to SSRS or to Excel? You would just automatically just go to Excel and then choose it, and it'll export for you. And you see it down here in the bottom. Now I'm back to the unsigned VRAs. When you look at these, be sure you choose the exact parameters that you're looking for. Even when you request custom reports, a lot of people request reports, and a lot of it's East meets West, doesn't know what each other wants. And me as a report developer, it's hard to read minds. I can read faces sometimes, but reading minds is a little bit more difficult. So remember the check or the drop down box that we had last time on the same reservation next year. Here they have a sort, which in the SSRS version, the new versions, there'll be a little checkbox at the top, a little up and arrow and down arrow on columns that you don't have to anymore click here. You just clicked on the actual report up and ascending or descending on multiple or singular columns. Let's see. The next report is a marketing code summary. We get a lot of requests for this. Some of you pros may already know that. This report is pretty handy. Okay, we're going to choose the date time frame that we're looking for. Let's just say that we want to choose for 2017 of January. And we see where all these reservations are coming from. Now this is the one that's just basic summary, but if you want to get more granular on this, again, please forgive the resolution. My screen sort of really sets things off when it's this large. And this time we're going to click, we want to show the details. Oh, wrong dates. Now we can see the difference between the two. Here we have all these reservations that have been made, and it's giving us a breakdown of where the revenue and where the reservations are coming from. I don't know if that would be a strategy for some to say, well, let's focus more towards the East Coast or towards the West Coast because the states are here, or it's a way to show where which marketing is working the best.
Yeah, I would say I really love this report because, you know, as an advertiser, as somebody who's in marketing, this information is completely valuable to me because I can take this and see that most of my reservations for this particular report came from North Carolina, because there's actually 18 reservations for North Carolina on here on this from Google AdWords. So this lets me know that Google AdWords, my North Carolina targeting looks really good. Now, if I wanted to increase my Florida targeting, then I would know, okay, I only got 3 reservations from Florida, so maybe I need to target some different keywords. And I love that it's actually broken down by the marketing code, so you can actually see, you know, if it's booking.com, if it's CompStay, if it's Expedia, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. We made up all of these, obviously, because this is a test database, so you know, they look different than what you guys ones would look like, but this is a really good motivation to make sure that you're using your marketing codes correctly, and that when people are checking in and when they're making reservations with you directly through the VRM system, make sure that you mark them appropriately, because then that'll help you with your target market data later. So great report, Steve. I love that one.
Then we have another one that I get a lot, and you'd be surprised, Brittany, how many times I get a request for, and a lot of the reports that we have, they just don't have that little niche that some are looking for. They're wanting to add a specific amenity or something strange. Well, I won't say strange, but something that you wouldn't think that they'd want added to the report. And that would be, the next one is our reservation per property report.
Oh, I've heard about this report. I do like this report a lot. I think you guys are going to find this really interesting and very informative when you pull this report. So can you walk me through the steps that all the buttons that you're clicking as you click them, just to make sure that if anybody has trouble with their resolution that they can recreate this report step? That really helps for sure.
We go into properties, then we go to reports.
Perfect.
And then from reports, we go to reservations per property. And then we're going to click view report. That'll bring up all our parameters and our filters that we're looking for to capture the data for. And I'm going to expand the screen a little bit. Here we have, if we want to choose a specific office or a specific property, but let's just go for all the properties. And we're going to go, let's just say, let's try 2017, and let's try for 2 months. Now, again, this is one of those reports that will eventually be converted and be exportable. And I know in some instances, the customization, they'll automatically get that feature of being able to export directly to Excel. Let me expand this a little bit. All right. Here are all the reservations for all offices for January and February, broken down by the individual property. And then you have the individual reservations for that. We have the start dates, the checkout, the status of that they're in, the number of guests, the damage deposits, rent, marketing code, insurance, total prepaid, total paid, and days between reservations, and the number of days in the reservation. Sometimes, and again, this is a report that I see a lot of requests for. I don't know if people see the report and they just like an extra tweak to it to say, can you add if there were a specific, if it had a pool, if that reservation had a pool or a fireplace or something like that. I'm just giving that for an example, and I don't know what the purpose was. Maybe it's they want to see if that was a bigger seller point than others. I don't know, but I do see a lot of customization on these specific type reports. But this happens to break it down into 2 pages. We see that we have the total summary of 12 reservations, 957 days, 24,000 in total in prepay.
You know, one thing I really like about this report, with our marketing clients, I'll email them and ask them to send me the number of properties that I need for that month to feature on social media and in email marketing. This report is a really easy way for you to pull up, like, okay, which houses are not getting any reservations, and then kind of look down at the bottom and see who needs to be filled in a little bit more. You may know that information right offhand, but, as your company grows, as you have more people on staff, as you have more things happening, this is a really great report to use for an at a glance. So I really love this one. Good pick, Steve. That's a great one.
And then I've got the last one that I wanted to, well, I don't know whether I should give you the Jonathan surprise or mine. We'll go with Jonathan's.
Yes, give me the surprise. Okay, guys, I have to give you the background on this, though, because Jonathan, last week, we had to do some more employee spotlights, or maybe it was a couple weeks ago. So I go there, I go to the office in Beaufort, and I had Jonathan and Megan and Michael and Christian all meet me at the office to do their employee spotlight videos. So I'm sitting down with Jonathan, and he's his normal spunky self. And I'm sitting there, and he's like, I have a top secret project I'm working on. I'm like, oh, whoa, time out. Like, I need to know what this project is. And he would not tell me. So then I get a message this morning right before Tea with Brittany Lee, and he says, Steve knows what the surprise is. And I was like, excuse me, what? Like, I am really trying to know what this surprise is. So Steve said that he would graciously divulge Jonathan's secret to us on the webinar. So you guys are you're literally finding this out as soon as I'm finding this out. And I know Jonathan's watching because he said he was going to have it in the background. So thank you, Jonathan, for letting us divulge your secret today. But go ahead, Steve. Dun, 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 dun. Let it roll.
You're sure that Jonathan's online? I was hoping that he wouldn't know and that I wouldn't get in trouble with him if he did.
I don't know. Nope, I'm positive. He said he was going to run it in the background, so he might be listening.
Great.
You never know.
This comes at great risk to me, Brittany.
I'm sorry, Steve.
All right. If there's a new, I guess you would call this a new feature. This is really, really awesome. It's going to be a valuable source to a lot of people, to people who have a need to see, are there any new reports? How do I take care of this? What could cause this problem? And it's VRM University, and Jonathan has done a fantastic job on getting this up and making it so user-friendly and resourceful. If you look at the top left, write that URL down. I would not recommend tattooing, but I would encourage you to write that down and commit it to memory. That is the URL to this VRM University. Now,
so I'm going to say it out loud for everybody that can't see the URL up there. It's help.vrmgr.com/login, okay? So help.vrmgr.com/login.
And you're going to use your username and your password and in your VRM code. Now, you may say, well, what is a VRM code? When you log into your normal admin console, you'll see below the list of all your options here, it says client code. You just want the name. So in this instance, client code is vakerent_Lauren.
Awesome. That is super easy to do, and you guys can log in and you'll be able to see what do we see when we log in, Steve? What's it going to look like?
That's going to cost you, Brittany.
What?
Here we have the VRM Help Center, and this is an exhaustive database that allows you to search a lot of things and is continually growing. It is not a static database. This is continually growing. I am adding with every report that I create and every report that I convert, it is going inside of this database. And I'm going to just go from the report standpoint because that's where I'm most familiar. I'm going to type in reports and I'm going to click the search. And here's a list of all the reports that will eventually be on VRM or are on the way to it. For example, here's extras needed for check-in. I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to open a new window. And here is going to give a brief summary, a description. A lot of times it's going to be the same, but there may be some different nuances. It's going to explain about the parameters, the office, the start date, all that you need for check-in. And then it's going to give you a screenshot of what the results would be at the bottom. So I don't know how well you can see that. I'm going to try and go up a little bit higher on the resolution. So bear with me.
That looks great. Yeah, we can read that really good now.
And there's a picture of the end product of the report.
Nice. I love it. So Jonathan has graciously promised that he would come on Tea with Brittany Lee and show you guys how to use our new help section. He told me this before the webinar. He was like, now I will do a Tea with Brittany Lee so that I can unload everything for you and show you how to use it. And I was like, yay. So I will keep you guys posted as to when that's going to be. It may be a couple of months from now, but we will definitely have a training session just on how to use this help section. So Steve, do you have another report? You do, don't you?
I do have one more thing I wanted to leak, and this is something that I wanted to show you, save it for last. For those who hung in there with me, let's close out of this. We have been creating something that I think you're just going to love. Every morning at 6 a.m., and this is still in the testing stages, a automatic email would be sent to specified user, and it would include your blackouts, your arrivals, and your departures for that day. So any blackout that's going out for that day, for example, if you needed to let housekeeping know, don't do this or do this, it's going to show that on the blackout of the start date or the end date. Now, I'm going to try and make this a little bit larger, so hopefully you can see this. Let's just maximize this all the way up.
That looks good right there, yeah.
What will happen is you'll get this roughly around 6, a little bit after we kick it off, about 6 o'clock. And it'll list the property that's going into blackout. The ones that start on that day will have an asterisk in front of the property name, and it's going to list the dates that it's going to be blacked out for and the comments that you had typed in for that blackout. Then we also have the arrivals for that day broken out. Now, it'll also have your housekeeping comments. So on your reservation, when you type in the comments on, I believe it's the general tab, the very bottom, you'll see HK comments. That's what's going to show up right here. Let's see if I can get this annotated here. And that's going to show up right here. And then you also have the departures for that day. And you also will have the HK comments, the housekeeping comments there as well. So that is just fantastic, I think. That's just something I think some people just really enjoy.
Yeah, this is the report that I'm jealous of. I wish I had a list of all the things I needed to do that day and get done. So you guys are really going to love that report. I'm sure of it. The other thing is that we have a couple of questions, Steve. So I want to know if you're ready for questions or if you have anything else to share with us first.
Go ahead.
All right, awesome. So Vince actually sent in a question, and he said, is it possible to get the renter's email included in these reports? We're starting to use third-party email marketing system, and we'd like to be able to extract custom reports that include email addresses. For example, all renters who rent in low season months, and we'd like to target some communiques with these people a few months before the fall or low season starts.
Absolutely. For most reports, that should not be a problem. But when you start getting, and it a lot deals with context. If you're dealing with an account, let's just say some sort of accounting report that deals only specifically with, let's just say DDW, and it's a sum of money, there's nothing that links that money to a specific email address. And sometimes there may be, but it takes a while to get there, to dodge and weave to narrow down. But yes, we would just need to know the name of the report. Now, customizations on a report are possible, and I do a lot of them. There may be a fee in charge, maybe a fee charged, but that would be known up front if you requested something like that. I had a request for that on the, what was it, just the other day, for the basic owner list. I believe someone was going to give a report to the county, and they wanted the county needed it in a specific format, column for column, name for name, and they wanted the email address included in that. But the answer to the question is, in most cases, absolutely.
Awesome. So basically, if you do want to make sure that you have a customized report, the best way to get up with Steve about that is to actually send in a help ticket to help@vrmgr.com. And then that way you'll be able to get in contact with Steve. They'll put you in touch with him. And then you can go back and forth about what your specific needs are for the report. So Cynthia says, does the market code report include those reservations that may have canceled after they were reserved?
The ones that, the report that I showed you just a few minutes ago do not include canceled reservations. If you needed to see the canceled reservations, we could probably take that off. But again, that would be some customizations. Not a majority of people do not want the canceled, at least from what I have gathered. They do not want the canceled included in that pool of data.
Perfect. Okay, and then Cynthia was actually asking again, she said, can we get that URL for the new help database that's going to be built that Jonathan's working on? I think it was help.vrmgr.com/login.
You got it.
Boom. Yay, memory. Awesome. Okay, so that's help.vrmgr.com/login. And login is just all one word, LOGIN. All right. Thank you, Cynthia. And Stephanie has a question. She said, is there a time frame for when all of the reports will be exportable to the different formats?
I can say before the year 3000. No.
There are a lot of reports in VRM, to be fair, so that's a big, tall order for sure.
Yeah, there are a lot of reports that I'm attempting to convert, and I'm being sarcastic. I am working furiously to get them done as soon as possible. If there is a report that you would like to have exported or converted to the new format to where it's exportable, feel free to put in a ticket requesting that we can convert that sooner than later. But I cannot give you an idea of when all our reports are going to be converted because we have to weigh this between new reports and old reports. I need this right away, and I'll do my best to get it as soon as I can to you. But that's bottom line is I can't really give you a deadline date. There's just so many and so many new reports requested for as well.
Awesome. And then Stephanie said, does the enhanced marketing report under reporting services have the info that Cynthia was requesting? And I think she might be talking about what Vince was asking about with the emails potentially. So Can you address that email marketing report just a little bit for us?
Yes, I think there are two email marketing reports. One's for guests and one's for members. If I recall correctly, that they do include the email address. If they don't, just put a request and I can see about adding that. I thought that it did, but I'm not going to stake my life on it.
No problem. So basically the moral of the story is if you need something and it's not there, all you have to do is send in a help ticket to help@vrmgr.com and Steve will get that and then he can work with you on making sure that your report is customized the way that you need it. So and then last question for today is, do you need to sign up for your daily emails about the blackouts and reservations, or does that happen automatically?
It should happen, if I understand, it should happen automatically. Right now, we just have to flip a switch and it would be turned on automatically. And I cannot give you a time frame when that's going to be turned on. I would imagine that the bulletin board would say, hey, look forward to getting your emails on such and such a date from the daily automatic notification. So it should automatically be turned on by default, and then you just request that it be turned off if you don't want it.
Awesome. Okay, well, that is everything for today. I want to just say a big, huge thank you to everybody that showed up for Tea with Brittany Lee today. And also, I have a little announcement of my own. So my family is actually, we just sold our house. We closed on it this morning. And we are moving into an RV and we're going to be traveling full time, me, my husband, and my daughter. And this is why I love working for VRM because I'm able to do stuff like this and we're able to go around the country and vacation and visit and do things like that. So if you guys see some pictures from me being on the road on the VRM Facebook page, you know where they're coming from. So keep your eyes on the VRM Instagram and the VRM Facebook page because I am going to be posting some really cool travel stuff up there. So you guys will be able to use it. And you'll be able to see what's going on in all of our adventures. So I just want to say thanks for everybody for being here today, and I really appreciate it. And we will send you a follow-up with the recording so that you can check out these reports for yourself again and again. And if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to email our help desk, help@vrmgr.com. Thanks so much, Steve, for showing up today. I really appreciate you coming in and meeting with me today.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great week.